Hi everyone, this is a very impromptu video, so the production value is going to be pretty low, but on very rare occasions, something has gone wrong in the shipping process, maybe 2 to 3 out of about 100 orders I've done so far, so I do have them slap the boxes with fragile stickers and everything, but sometimes, things do every once in a while go wrong. So I figured I'd make this video showing how you can fix some of those issues. In particular, a good customer, Derek, had a little mishap in the shipping, and I think this video will be particularly helpful. But again, I'll send this to any customer on that rare occasion where something does go wrong, and you want to maybe try and remedy some of those things yourself. So the first thing is recombining. What usually would happen in the 2 or 3 cases that have occurred is something snaps off during the shipping process. So if that does happen, using this as an example, so this is a separate piece right here, and it inlays into this part of the mask, and I want to combine these two into one solid piece. So you could do this with, any part of it that breaks off. Where that seam is, where the two pieces connect, on this it's on the inside right here. But if it's a physical structure, you would go around the outside. So what you do is you take a soldering iron with a wide tip, you can see there, heat it up to at least 200 degrees Celsius. This is at about 700 degrees Fahrenheit. Not sure what that is in Celsius, but I know it's warm enough. And then you plastic weld by pressing the tip along the seam of where the two pieces meet, allowing those very slowly, like that, allowing the plastics to melt together. Let me see if I can get a good shot of this. You can kind of see right there on the left part, it's melted together there. Again, this is a very tough thing to show in one unedited video, but you can watch again. There's that seam right here where they meet. And then I'm dragging that tip along, melting the plastics together. And you can see that works pretty well. Sometimes you're gonna have to get in there and push the plastic around, but the basic idea remains the same, which is that you're trying to melt the plastic of the two pieces at the same time on that seam where they meet, so that when it hardens, that plastic is combined into one piece. And PLA filament melts at around 200 degrees Celsius, so not a super high temperature, and it moves fairly smoothly as you're doing that. You just want to make sure you don't burn through whatever you're working with. And give it a little bit, once you've done that, to dry or re-solidify. And then once you've gone around the edges, maybe had some super glue in there as well, but I do recommend doing the plastic welding if you have a soldering iron. The next step would be to, for me, is the logo is a bit crunched up here, but this is Bondo glazing putty. I mean, it's really hard to get that text to show there, but spot and glazing putty. So you would go around the parts, the line where those things meet. So you can see on this helmet here, this was a few different pieces, mainly this bottom piece and this top half. And you can see that's where that line would be. And on the inside, you can see the line where I melted the plastics together. And so on the outside, and again, if it's a solid piece, that melting line will be on the outside. Fill that in with the spotting putty, let it dry. It really doesn't take that long either. And then I go at it with about 320 grit to 400 grit sandpaper until it's smoothed out. And then usually you'll still have, like you can see right there, there's still a visible line right there, just much less than before. So once it's sanded, I'll then go back with the glazing putty, cover it again, sand it again until eventually those things blur out. Then once you're done with that, you can repaint. The colors, especially for helmets that I'm making, should be very obvious, but if not, you can always ask me and I'd be happy to help. And if there's weathering or a black wash, there's tutorials I can send for that as well. It's really not super difficult. But yeah, so again, hopefully this video, very few people will have to see it, but if you do end up in that situation, hopefully this is helpful. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me and I'd be happy to help fix it. Thanks.